Good evening, folks. This is another weekly wake-up call. You've had 3 this week now. This one's important. You guys should listen to this. This is about something that could potentially, affect you at some point. So I'm going to turn this over to Dave.
Well, I'm going to say that this wake-up call is brought to you by a wake-up call that I had yesterday. I figured out, or my wife actually figured out, it was brought to my attention that we were victims of what is called an ACH scam. ACH is called the American Clearinghouse, which is a network in which banks transfer money from one bank to another. But basically what it is, it's the system in which your routing number is used to transfer money from one place to another. And it's a very easy place for scammers to focus on. I wasn't even aware of this, that there was any way to get it other than you telling them, hey, it's this, but there are ways to get it. One thing I will say is that anyone can be scammed, anyone can be defrauded, anybody. It's not whether or not you're going to get scammed, it's what you do when it happens. So yesterday, when I found out about it, I went through, 5 stages of grief. But when I got to accept, basically what it was is, okay, what am I going to do about it? So I contacted my bank. I contacted the company. By the way, this is a Verizon scam. I contacted the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, and I'm building a case for the FTC, not necessarily to get all of my money back, but to try to help the problem. There is something through the Consumer Financial Protection Board called Article E. Basically, this states that the bank is responsible for the first 3 months of fraud through your banking. So if this happens past 3 months, you may very well be stuck with it. There are stories, people, thousands, tens of thousands, actually millions of dollars have been taken. I got hit for a significant amount of money, but one thing you have to realize is it's a low amount over a long period of time, because you don't notice it.
You might want to tell them how they do it. They do it they make it look like it's legit by
legitimate. What they did was they put Verizon in. So I can't show you, because I can't show you my bank account. Go to your bank, call your bank. What is called is an ACH debit. Okay, nothing that you don't recognize should be there. Nothing, because basically it's that is your routing number. Someone has your routing number. It's basically like if you dropped your checkbook on the ground and somebody picks it up. Your routing number is right there on the bottom left. They know it. If you can see it, they can see it. Every bank has the same routing number, by the way. Chase has the exact same routing number. It's not really that, it's your account number that they want.
Right.
That's how they get you. Another thing is, when you see a withdrawal, if you see a phone number, at least with Verizon, that is bogus. Call your bank immediately, get it taken out. If it's within 3 months, or like you've only been taken for a couple of payments, you'll get reimbursed. That is Consumer Financial Protection Bureau law. So I have to thank one person, at least, Elizabeth Warren. She created the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. Without that, I wouldn't have been able to get at least a little bit of my money back. I'm going to continue the case, You can go back as far as 2 years, which is what I did, and attempt to get more of your money back. But the bank is not going to, more than likely, not going to cooperate because they don't have to.
Right.
I have a story about peer-to-peer, which is different from my situation. Companies like Zelle, which, by the way, Elizabeth Warren had a meeting with 7 bank executives about that one particular peer-to-peer service, in which every single bank said it's safe. Now, if a bank says it's safe, someone gets scammed, and someone gets scammed past that 3-month period of time, the bank told you it was safe for them because they know they only have to pay you back for 3 months. There's one thing I want to show you, though. Let me see here. Okay. This is a YouTube video. I'm not going to show the YouTube video. My purpose is to show the comments, because this is the attitude that people have towards this type of situation. So this is Elizabeth Warren grilling banking CEOs on protecting people from fraudulent transactions. And this is specifically about peer-to-peer. A service that banks say is safe, people go in and they get scammed. This is the response. And I'm going to call these people out because there's no way, I'm not going to redact the names or any of that crap. This is from this guy 3 months ago. So she's basically saying that these banks should pay for every clueless person who gets scammed. If you decide to pay someone for concert tickets on Craigslist without meeting them in person, you have your own stupidity to blame. Actually, meeting someone and being online are 2 completely different things. It is. Or not completely different, but they're different. Warren asked for the banks to repay every claim of fraud. Shouldn't there be some sort of verification process? Which there is, by the way. I had to go in, check everything, get my documentation in order, and dispute the claim. Just saying. I don't care about this Pocahontas comment.
Fucking
Whatever.
piss me off, people. They really are so fucking stupid. They really are. It's just amazing.
She's hard to watch. I wouldn't, but it's entertaining to watching her try and sound intelligent.
And who's making this comment? Doctor Who? Give me a fucking break, okay? Shut the fuck up. She's quite intelligent, actually. I've actually met with her. So
she expects companies to reimburse customers who get swindled out of their money because they're dumb. Wait a minute. They're not dumb. They're ignorant of the processes. Right. Not everyone is technically savvy. Not everyone knows everything about computer scams. Not everyone knows every aspect.
Republicans, I'm pretty sure. They sound ignorant as Republicans.
Shout out to Jay Schatz, who, even though I disagree with his political affiliation, I'm a Republican and I agree with how she's handling this issue.
Right.
By the way, we aren't being reimbursed for everything.
I'm trying to respond to one of these. I was so fucking annoyed already. Shut him off, will you? It's the new year. I need a break tonight.
All right. This is the Consumer Financial Protection Board. We're going to give this to you as a source. It's basically stating to you, the banks are only liable for 3 months. 3 months. So, the problem is, again, they take little by little by little. By the time they ramp it up and you figure it out, it could be months and months or years from there.
Look, I have to tell you my own personal thing, but this is with a debit card. It wasn't with the routing number. But out of my bank account, I found this charge to some company in California for like $10. And I just assumed must be my kid because,
right.
she buys little stuff like that, and I go in and I ask her, did you just buy blah, 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 blah. So I come home from work and I look at my, and I'm going to tell you right now, you guys need to get used to looking at your bank statement. You need to look online, on your phone, whatever. I just went through this with my daughter, made her get it and put it on her phone so she can check her bank account. So I went to my daughter, I said, did you just spend $10 in California? She goes, no, I haven't bought anything. So I actually didn't do anything about that. I waited the next day. And the next day I went on and there was $105 missing to some jewelry company in California. So I called my bank right away. And literally they killed my card, sent me a new one, and put the money back in my account. And, they said, we're doing an investigation. If we find out that we think someone that or in your family bought it, we take the money back. But if not, we leave it there. They wrote me a letter about 2 weeks later saying it was definitely fraud. The money's back in your account. You're all set, blah, blah, blah. So you got to watch everything. They can do it with your card. It's a lot easier, though, with your card than if they're mirroring your account. That is a bit more lethal.
That's how I got scammed, by the way. There is a scam out there through the United States Postal Service where employees are looking for what's called light blue. It's basically what they do to check their payroll, check what they're getting paid, check their time, all of that. There is a company that has a link. They put a link in Google. You hit that link and they're able to ask you for your password and your ID. And from there, they have your information. They have your routing number.
Here's another thing you need to be. There's a lot of scams out there. I'm getting emails every day from companies. They're preying particularly on the elderly, okay?
Yes.
Who are not necessarily electronic savvy, all right? So other things, I don't know if you guys have ever seen this. You get it on Facebook. Have you heard about they friend you, and then they go, have you heard about the new blah, 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 blah program from Social Security? And I tell people, you know what? You got the wrong person here, because I've been dealing with Social Security for 21 years. They do not do this shit through social media. That makes absolutely no sense. No, this is totally legitimate. I would never scam you. I said, you know what?
If you say that,
leave me alone. Okay. I said, this is not legitimate. I'm not going to give, you need to, I just block people. When that happens, it's either, I really believe most of those accounts are being hijacked, because some of these people I've been friends with on Facebook for a long time, and I've gone back and asked them, and they haven't been the ones doing it.
Right,
so
right.
You guys need to be careful of all of this stuff. Any of that. I had a guy contact me once about, thank you for the payment for your McAfee, this is another thing they do, for your McAfee renewal. I don't use those kinds of programs.
McAfee's a huge scam, by the way.
But
even if you go in,
they all are, though. They all are, because they actually create the viruses.
Right.
I don't use any virus software. I've had no problem since I stopped using them, frankly. But McAfee insinuates that they've taken the money out of your account. They haven't. What they're counting on is this. The first time it happened to me, I called the guy, and these people are all, they're on their cell phones. And I said, I don't want this. I said, you better not have taken this out of my bank account. He goes, well, here's what we have to do. You have to put TeamViewer on your computer. I said, you know what? You must think I'm fucking stupid. I said, I have TeamViewer on the computer that I run my radio station on, because when I have technical problems, the people from my radio station have to show me identification, and they go in through TeamViewer and fix the problem. If you put TeamViewer on your computer, they can get into every single file and take all your information. Do not fall for that shit. There's a lot of scams out there right now.
One thing I will say is that every single medium, you can get scammed by phone. People are ready for that. You can get scammed by email. You can get scammed by text. Mine
Texting
wasn't.
bad. The phones are getting bad now.
They were getting bad.
I get shit all day long, and I just delete it and I block the number.
If you get, especially from Verizon, if you get a text message from Verizon, contact Verizon. Do not click the link on a text. Don't do it. That's how I got hit.
Right.
2 years ago. Okay. I realized it 2 years later because you're busy, you have things to do. This isn't about being dumb. This isn't about being stupid. You know, it's about not paying attention at this point. So that is this part of it. Deb, if you want to split the video, this is only 10, that's fine, but I'm going to continue because there is another thing that I want to talk about. It's not just about your personal finances and all of that. It's also about how we pick our leaders. Again, I am so sick and tired of people blaming the wrong people. In this case, the case that we're talking about with consumer fraud, which is a billion-dollar problem, multi-billion-dollar problem, the victims are being blamed. Well, they should have paid more attention. Well, they shouldn't be dumb. They shouldn't be gullible. Everybody can be a sucker. Everybody can get caught. Everybody has that moment that they don't pay attention and know, whoa, what the fuck? But you do have to react fast enough. A couple of things that I recommend, actually. Number one, education. Education, maybe not in grade school, but as early as junior high, high school, and then have college, mandatory freshman college courses about protecting yourself from consumer fraud. Why not?
Right.
So, and the other thing, we just have to we have to be diligent, and when something like this happens, we do our homework so more people don't get hit like this. That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
So it's not just this, it's politics also. Everybody is up in arms about George Santos. Everybody. But to me, when I saw this and I saw this situation, once I calmed down, I realized it's the same thing that happened with George Santos. He started small.
Right.
A tiny paper broke the George Santos scandal. No one paid attention because just these small details came out. He's flaky. He's just a little weird. He might have embellished here and there. That's not that big of a deal. That's not that big of a, oh, wait a minute. Then when they started to talk about the crap that he had, the check fraud and all that stuff out of the country, then it started to get big. And then all of a sudden, after the election, that's when the Santos information really started to ramp up with the New York Times article. It started here, though. Guys, why didn't you pay attention, guys? Stop blaming the victim.
Right.
Okay, everybody can miss something. I missed this too. But shout out to one of my Twitter followers. This is not the Democrats' fault. Okay, the Republicans knew about this. Who's going to listen to it? To the Democrats? By the way, if the Democrats screamed and yelled about it, they're just going to say, "Oh, this is just political advertising." His opponent lost by 8 percentage points. I doubt if all of that information came to light. I doubt very seriously if he still, would have lost. I doubt it. Now, should they have done it? Yeah. But here's my here's my point. A couple more points about Mr. Santos. He goes from that to the government and intelligence is worried about giving him classified information.
He should.
Every single.
If you have to worry about that, he should not even be in office.
No, he shouldn't be in office. This man is.
Why would you give him classified information? You know, I wouldn't give him clearance either. No way.
There's one more thing that I wanted to say about Mr. Santos. We've joked about him. It's really not a joke. He has lied about having his mother die during 9/11. Then I found that she worked there, but she was there and she survived and died five years later. Then supposedly his father was in 9/11, but he wasn't. Then Mr. Santos had people who worked for him that died at Pulse. No, they were going to work for him at Pulse. Then he talked about the Holocaust, had his links to family members in the Holocaust. No, that didn't happen. What I'm seeing is, even if it did happen, he's making all of this about him. He's focusing all of this tragedy on him instead of facing a problem and addressing the problem and making sure no one else gets affected. He's playing the woe is me card. I'm with you, woe is me.
Right.
I don't trust this guy as far as I can throw him. He does need to be taken out. Allow the investigators, the Northeast Attorney General is looking at him now. Letitia James is looking at him now. The Nassau County Attorney General is looking at him now. It's very possible that the U.S. Attorney General is looking at him now at this point.
He also did take $300,000 from Russia because he's in the Putin wing of the Republican Party.
He is. But don't worry about it. He in a tweet, he complained about how much of a liar Biden is. I almost went on Twitter and said, yeah, you should know. Right. but I got backed off on that.
I just told him he might want to shut up at this point. That's what I told him.
But the point is that you don't always catch things that happen. You don't always catch the people doing wrong to a degree where it's just, completely unacceptable until after it happens.
Right.
Look at what happened with Trump. We were defending Trump for a long time, and then the second January 6th happened. That was that moment.
Yeah.
When do people catch fraud, wire transfer fraud, or something of that nature? When a charge hits that they don't notice.
Yep.
That's why Elizabeth Warren created the Consumer Financial Protection Board in the first place, to at least alert people. But sometimes that doesn't even work.
And just so you know, I do believe, we need to look this up. I do seem to recall that the Republicans passed legislation that caused this Consumer Financial Protection Bureau to lose some of its power. Did they not?
Yes, they did.
Yeah, of course they did.
Now I looked. It's always been. I'm sorry. Did I say 3 months? It's 60 days. It's 2 months. 2 months, not 3 months. 2 months worth of protection. So that gives you enough, but you have to be very diligent and very observant, because this stuff is designed to look legitimate.
Right.
So they can string you along as they can.
Right.
Okay. Sometimes it's a one shot. Sometimes they look to get your information and grab a lot of money at a time, like the payroll scam with the United States Postal Service, which hit, to my knowledge, at least over 100 people nationwide. I believe it's pretty much everybody. Most people should be aware of it by now. Here's another thing: they target based on time and opportunity. They did it right before the deadline for health benefits. Plus, on top of the fact it was during Christmas, during the season in which they know that people get paid the most.
I don't have direct deposit. I get a check. I get a paper check. I'm very good. I'm comfortable with that. I don't.
Yeah,
do that.
the thing is, I mean, it's possible that, well, I was thinking about it actually. That's the one thing that I have, because people have lost my checks before, my physical checks, or somebody has taken them when I didn't even have them in the first place. It's like a transfer issue. Now they can actually cancel them more readily than if it's a wire transfer,
Right.
because they can actually kind of track it and see if it's been physically cashed. Someone has to physically cash it.
Right.
It's just kind of in the ether.
Right.
So one of my point with all of this is that you can all be taken.
Yep.
Every single one of you. You're not as smart as you think you are.
Right.
I have a master's degree. Deb is beyond, she's a pretty street savvy person if you know her. Every single one of us, I would think, in this digital age has had something from a small thing to larger things happen.
Yep.
That happens. You have to be aware. And the unfortunate thing is it keeps us from making contact. It's kind of like back in the day. I don't know if people remember being able to leave their doors open. You can't do that. You have to lock the doors. Yeah.
That ain't happening.
Right. It's kind of the same thing with the internet. Is a fantastic tool, but you have to know how to use it. You also have to know how to use your phone. You have to know that people are looking to grab a quick buck any second, as well as politicians.
Yeah, that's right.
and George Santos, his argument is almost kind of the same argument the banks said. He said, well, I'm a good guy. People know me. They've known me for a long time. First off, they didn't know you. I don't even know if your name is really George Santos. What the hell? Well, I'm thinking the Mission Impossible thing, he's going to pull his mask off.
Yeah, I also know right now they're also trying to figure out how this guy gave himself so many big loans for his campaign. He's not somebody I'd give my fucking routing number to either.
Right. By the way, his landlord won't give him his security deposit back because he trashed his house. Just stupid little stuff on top of big stuff.
Right.
His misfiling of claims about his marriage, his business, his charity, all of it.
Residency? Where does he
his
live?
Residency? Where does he live? Supposedly, his main residency is in Florida. That's another thing we'll talk about.
He's running in New York.
Yeah. So another thing later on, we'll talk about what are the baseline requisites for people to run for office. No one should be able to be appointed in any office.
Right.
In any office without some kind of base qualifications. Just take a look at Michelle Fiore in Nevada. We will soon. So this is where we're going. Number one, anybody can be taken. Number two, don't blame the victim because you may be one someday.
Right.
Okay. Help solve the problem. Stop pointing the fingers.
Right. All right, gang. We'll catch you all Monday. We doing this Monday? We doing the show Monday?
Monday, yeah.
All right, we'll be back Monday. You guys have a happy new year.
Peace.